Hey everyone, Nisper here with Donkey Crew. It's been about a month since Bellwright has released into early access, and we wanted to focus not just on the game, but also the community, answering some questions, highlighting strategies, and giving more insight into our game. This is by no means a comprehensive list, but should highlight some of the most talked about things we've been seeing on our Discord channels, Steam forums, and Reddit posts. You can find all those important links in the description down below. Since releasing into early access, we've had quite a few patches to help stabilize the game and fix larger issues that we missed during closed testing. We had to tackle a lot of issues impacting VRAM usage, particularly with players running the game on older systems, as well as increased memory usage when opening the world map, that could cause players to crash. We fixed these issues along with addressing a very nasty hardware issue regarding the K-series CPU from Intel. These were 13th and 14th generation CPUs, and Intel had to produce new guidelines for motherboard vendors, which led to them having to release an updated BIOS version to address the issue. This was unfortunately out of our hands, and required users to take steps themselves to fix the issue and update their BIOS. Additionally, some users came into a DirectX 12 error, which happens either from having too old of a GPU to support DirectX 12, or your Windows isn't updated to the latest version. For reference, this would be Windows 10 20H1 or version 2004. There were also some balance changes to many smaller aspects of the game that were taken to make it less tedious. We adjusted a lot of different recipes and made small improvements to the UI, adding more notifications and icons. We also changed out some of the crafting recipes to fit a more balanced gameplay loop, especially with our Tier 3 buildings. We found that the requirements for resin and steel in Tier 2 needed to be adjusted, so there were no longer any bottlenecks. With the Tier 3 buildings, one of our main thoughts was for players to utilize the farm for growing wheat, then being processed at the windmill, and finally used by the bakery for a staple and constant source of food, while the N would be more for cooking specific recipes with unique status effects. We fixed lots of issues with players getting stuck on certain quests due to unforeseen variables like NPCs dying to wild animals or players accidentally flushing away key quest items. Some of these are still in the process of being modified, but it will be in the next content update. Rest assured, we're keeping a close eye on all quest-related reports on Discord and doing whatever we can to fix them right away. We also added a tool slot so that companions wouldn't end up unequipping all their weapons. There was another bug associated with cooking pots getting stuck due to adding food items with different spoilage timers. This in turn made the system measure them as two separate items, and the cooking station would become an infinite loop. Another one was a productivity debuff, which, if stacked high enough, would end up making research go into negative numbers, as if it was accumulating backwards. There were lots of other things getting stuck, quests remaining uncompleted, and overall crashes that needed to be fixed, and we've largely taken care of most of them. Of course, we know there is still a lot more work to do with making the AI behave as they're supposed to and optimizing the game overall. These are general improvements that will happen incrementally as we proceed with every patch. When it comes to the directional combat system, we've had a lot of feedback regarding every aspect of the difficulty and uncanny movements that may sometimes occur. We have had some improvements here to the animations and added an improved blood system, generally making the hits more obvious and satisfying. We know this is a critical part of the game for many players, so we're taking our time to read and assess what can we do to make it better. And indeed, it's a bunch of little things that make a combat system good or bad, so we'll see incremental improvement every time we make more changes like what was mentioned. We'll have more to say on combat in an upcoming devlog where we really drill into what else we can do to improve it. When it comes to combat, many have mentioned it's very difficult to liberate the first town, so we removed the profession requirement from a lot of T2 gear so as not to mess with the difficulty while allowing players to better prepare for the first liberation. If you're having trouble liberating a town or fighting off multiple enemies, the number of companions you bring will be important. If you find yourself often getting swarmed, it's good to equip your followers with the shield, which will drastically increase their effectiveness and the duration of combat. Combine this with a set of leather armor and some basic gambeson, and they'll take a lot less damage from attacks. Further, if you equip yourself with high quality food in all 3 slots on your character, it will substantially increase your health and stamina. If you're looking to better organize your settlement, you can do so by adjusting the filtered settings within any stockpile or camp chest to enable specific items and a quantity within a set range. Just make sure when setting this range to click the toggle on the filter once, so that it saves the numbers you've input. From your suggestions, we've added a new filter setting to separate special and unique items that you wouldn't want to lose, like knowledge books, animal trophies, and quest items. But there are more improvements to come. We're working on even more granular storage management by splitting equipment into weapons, armors, tools, and ammo, and allowing you to truly customize everything about item storage in your settlement. Moreover, weapon racks will finally have the adjustable filters, including disabling tools from it entirely. With Outposts, we are aware that the delivery system needs a rework and that the UI can be somewhat confusing. Just to clarify a few things when moving items between outposts, you will need to set it up as a pull request. So to set the delivery to your main outpost, ensure its name is on the top left-hand corner, create a new order, and select the outpost to receive the delivery from with the occurrence and amount that you would like. Workers are required for deliveries, so make sure that you have at least one of them assigned to the destination settlement. Lastly, when it comes to future updates, as many of you know, we've been working already to fix some quality of life issues that have been addressed by the players. The Forester system, for instance, was just released, where you can now regrow trees to your settlement. Players have been asking why only NPCs can plant trees, and for the moment, the system can only regrow trees that have already been cut down. For that reason, we made it possible that only NPCs can plant saplings in those areas. We also introduced the Staging Ground, which is a cheap buildable rally point that you can use to better equip your companions. A lot of people experienced problems with how tedious it was to provide food to a large army, and this was a welcome change to help make it far more convenient for them to stock up. We also added a food bag item that slightly slows down the spoilage timer and allows for longer expeditions. There's also a food slider on the army widget now that allows players to define how many food slots the companion should have occupied, so they'll be able to customize and don't end up completely filling up their inventory on NPCs. Overall, our main focus is to get the game into an enjoyable state, at which point we can start adding more content. When it comes to the community, we are 100% focused on bringing up the issues that you're all talking about, good or bad, and we do everything we can to read every post and thread we find on our various social media channels. These suggestions are going directly to the development team, and I can promise your voices and opinions are being heard. We've added various community channels to our Discord, including the Elder System, where we take questions directly from experienced players, as well as our report channels and content creator channels, so that we can share and feature all the creative things that you guys have been doing with the game. That's all we have for today on this community update, but we've got some exciting news coming, so make sure to stay followed for what's in store. Until next time.